Hey up everybody and welcome back. Right, well, you're thinking to yourself, alright, what's going on? That doesn't look like our red and white B50. No, well, I've been visiting my friend Dick and we've got these barrels where the tappet block's going finally sorted out. So I just thought I'd pop this up here, you know, one of those, I'll come out for an hour, pop the barrels on, heads, you know, get that done and maybe film it to show you it and then take it out for a ride for a video. So I have a bunch of things to show you on it. I was going to do a little video, but anyway, I'll tell you all about it when I actually do the video. But I came across a problem with, well, I'll tell you what the problem is quickly, the main one. These barrels, as you know, are alloy, and like the BSA that has through bolts, the head bolts to the barrel, and the cast iron barrel, of course, being nice and hard and strong, has fine threaded holes tapped in it. But alloy, as normal, these have been tapped with a coarse thread to give them a better grip and a stronger hold. Not only that, being they've come from modern day UK, they're metric. So apart from a couple of problems I got getting it all on, I got to drop the bolts in, of course, and they won't screw in. So I've got to make up some bolts. So that'll all come in a video in the next couple of weeks. Alright, so that's why that's there. I'm going to take it down in a minute and put the B50 up. And I'll show you this, look. I don't know how well this is going to show. Ta-da! Now, this is nothing compared to what it was. It was all swollen, it was a multitude of colours. Funnily enough, my six-wheeler did that to me, or I did it with the aid of my six-wheeler. Six-wheeler I have that I use out in the woods, lives in the big shed with Linda's lawn tractor. So I got it out actually for the first time this year, and the mice get inside the cover where the belt drive is, so I've always got to take that off, otherwise I get squished mice in there when I start it up. And I have a slow puncture and all that. So what I had to do was pull it out to the back of the shed so I could get at it to do a couple of jobs. So I get a grip of it and I pull it, move back and pull it, and move back and pull it. And then I must have been standing on a slippery bit of the floor, because it's a wooden floor in there, because when I pulled, instead of the six-wheeler moving, I moved, my feet went out from under me. I didn't fall backwards, but I fell sitting down, and of course both legs went underneath the six-wheeler, just where the rear axle is. I think I must have pulled back my right leg as I was falling, but my left leg went under, and hence the big scab thing. But it came up and, it was horrible colours, because this is a few days ago. So I thought I'd share that with you. Alright, so let me take this down, and we put the B50 up, and we'll deal with a couple of problems that have cropped up on that. Well, as we were so close, I couldn't resist putting the tank and that on. So there's what she's going to look like. Of course, we're going to have a black rubber footrest here and a little cover on that, but I'm pleased with that. Okay, let's get set to do some work. Right, so the first thing we're going to look at is the fact that when I try to turn this gearbox sprocket, it barely turns, and of course we're in neutral, so it should just spin. Now, I said I had an idea what this was, and it's all down to me. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Wishful thinking. When I put the gearbox together, it says here, look, crease, that there is number 4, a thrust washer. And there wasn't a thrust washer in the box of bits from when I dismantled it. Now, as I say, over time with these bikes, I found that the guy that owned them all did some strange things. So I thought, okay, maybe you just missed it out. I didn't know. But I had another MX engine, as you may remember. So I pulled that apart and found that there was a thrust washer in there. But it was just a plain steel thrust washer. That one's got the little grooves in it, the oil grooves in it. So I thought, okay, I'll put that in. But this is where my optimism comes in. There's actually 3 thicknesses of these. They're not much different. Well, 10 thou, which is a fair amount. I should have measured the one I put in and made sure it was the thinnest one. Or I should have put it in, bolted the side up, checked it. But I didn't. I just put it in and put it all together. So, as I say, that one is down to me. So what we're going to do is, I've taken the footrests off. Hang on, let me get rid of this bit of grease here. I've taken the footrests off. I have taken this outer cover off. So what I'm going to do now is take out basically all the screws except that one and that one, I think. And then I'm just to say going to crack them. If that starts moving, then we're definitely compressing something in the gearbox. We'll take it apart and we will check the thickness of that spacer. And of course, taking it apart means I've got to take the clutch and everything off. So I am really annoyed that I didn't take the trouble to be a little more thorough on this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take this off, which is no big deal. Okay, so we're gonna take, let's say we take that one out. Because I'm not going to be able to get it. These down here for the oil pipe. Oh man. Never take things for granted. Stupid. No, I can't get that one for the oil pipe. Let me get these out. Right, so now we're ready. I just had to take that oil pipe off to move it round. So our sprocket still doesn't turn, so let's just look at that quarter turn. Quarter turn, still tight. And let me just, it's going to be held a little bit with the gasket cement. Because as I say, if this is, yeah, that's still too tight. That moved. And nope. No, that's still not turning. So, I don't think it is in the gearbox. Must be something in the clutch. Well, hang on. Again, let's see, that's loose. That's loose. We definitely do not have any more in there. Maybe there wasn't. Oh, thrust washer in here. Nope, still won't move. So I don't think it's that crushing up in the gearbox. Well, well, well. Tighten that back up. So let's go around take the bloody clutch off. You know, I'm thinking about this as I was getting the cover off now. I don't see how it can be the clutch. Because once we're in neutral, that outer part of the main shaft shouldn't be affected by the clutch at all. Because, you know, you put it in neutral, the engine's running, clutch is still going to be spinning, the inner and the outer, but I'm going to have to take this off to get the nut off the end. Oh, I think I'm going to have to take the clutch centre off, aren't I? To get the keyway out, to get the Woodruff key out, and if I've got to take the clutch centre out, then it means we've got to take all this off. Bit of a bummer, that, isn't it? Now, I don't know how long this week's video is going to be, because actually I didn't think you were going to get one, because I forgot to tell you last week that this weekend is Linda's birthday, and she always likes to go on a little camping trip. I have to admit, I'm not a camping type person myself, even though we have our little camper. I mean, you definitely wouldn't get me in a tent. Although when I were a lad and I used to go fishing, each summer I'd go for a week camping somewhere so that I could be at the fishing place. We went to the Lake District one year, and I remember one year we went to a place called Glasedale, which is on the River Esk in North Yorkshire, and one year we went on the Swale at a place called Danby Wisk, which is right in my home country, because when I did an Ancestry.com search on my father's side, I found that right back to the 1700s, the family had been in the Northallerton, Appleton Wisk, Danby Wisk, Topcliffe, that area. That's why I think some of my relatives used, can't remember his real name, but James Herriot and the Farnans as their vets. Hang on, I need to get somebody to get the plates out. So as I was saying before I got rambling about my ancestry, I didn't think I'd be here on Sunday, but apparently it's a relatively local glen, little gorge that we're going to, and on these campsites you've sort of got to be out by like 10 o'clock, so we'll be home in time to post a video. So I might not have a lot of time to work on it. I might only be able to get today, but we'll see. At least you won't be disappointed on Sunday evening, will you? Come on now. Ba-bum, ba-bum. Oh, he's going boom, boom, boom. Never-ending clutch pack. There we go. Ow, just got my finger in there. That's alright. Yeah, that's turning fine. Till it gets to where it's opening valves. Then we got the valve spring pressures. Just top dead centre. But it could be top dead centre, of course. Now the other problem, it was something that, oh, I meant to write your name down. I was talking about that cracking noise we heard, and I assumed it had to be something like this, but as was pointed out to me, if this was all uptight and I was still working on this, although I wasn't putting a lot of pressure on it, we hadn't got that high, I'd be pulling the crank. So I think I'll just take all this off anyway, because I want to check a number of things. So you saw me put all this on. Let me just switch you off and take it all off, and then we'll see what's what. Right, well, now I am surprised. Took bits off, took the gearbox off, still wouldn't turn. Finally, when I took this off, it turns. I can't believe that oil seal, although it's slightly cocked. Don't tell me all of that was just for one little badly settled oil seal. Yeah, it is, it's a little, you know, it's cocked in there. Bugger me! Alright, so I can put it back together again now. Well, I didn't have to take the gearbox. Well, no, I didn't have to take the gearbox off, but that's minor. Also, while I've got all this off, I have been looking both sides, of course, because I'm right down to the crankshaft on that side. I can't see anything. I don't seem to have created any end play or anything. So I still don't know what that crack was. I still can't find anything on anywhere that looks like the least little bit of a crack. So don't know. Alright, let me put the gear internals back in and tighten all that up and see if that still turns. Then that's what it was. And I forgot to mention, that is the thrust washer from inside the gearbox, and it's measuring 92 thou. The smaller one it lists there, it says 93 to 94 thou, so I guess that's the thinnest one. We'll put it in and see if we've got any end play. I thought the sensible thing was to square up that oil seal and put the cover on and try it. It's a tight oil seal. I mean, it turns a lot better than it did. I mean, before I could barely turn it. Now I can just turn it with my fingers. But God, it's tight in that. But that's what it was. Right, that's that side all back on with its nice new Allen screws instead of the cross-headed ones, and so we've got the cover on this side. That turns fine. I mean, it's still a little tight, but before I had to really pull at it to move it. So all we're going to do now is put the clutch and everything back on. So I won't bore you with that. I'll do the other side and I'll put the outer cover on this, and then we will move on. Right, so everything is back together, and I put a chain on. So would you believe it? All that work for one bloody oil seal. Alright, now then, what's next? You know, I was going to work. Oh, there's my glasses. I've lost them. I was going to redo the introduction because I thought, yeah, you didn't want to see my damaged foot, and then I thought, oh bugger it, why not? Right, so what are we going to do next? As I say, I'm not sure how much time I've got. Shall we make a cardboard template for this chain guard? What else have we got to do? I still haven't been down to get the little bellows thing, the dust seal for the front master cylinder for the brake, so can't quite finish that off. I suppose I could bleed the rear brake and stuff. Oh, I've ordered some, excuse me, I've ordered some 2BA, what's it, Allen bolts. So I'll put one up here, and there's these three here that I've just put the original screws in, and here I'll order a couple of long ones. I think I'm just going to make a disc here because I don't have a nice one of the chrome things, and I think that's what we'll do. We'll make an alloy disc to fit in there. I'm going to recess it, and I need to get a little rubber for that, so let's look into doing that. Right, I'm back again because I wrote down a couple of names. I was looking to see if I had any comments I had to answer. So Derek Smith, and actually he mentioned this once before, I guess when I built the Yambasaki, mentioned that this, I'm a little bit disjointed here, so I might have just already told you this, mentioned that this bolt wasn't very strong. So when I was ordering some stuff, I ordered some 3/8 4130 or 4140, I can't remember which, and I'll make up a new bolt for there. So thanks for reminding me about that, Derek. I don't think anybody's going to do anything particularly active on this, because apparently he wrote his in Enduros. But, and the other thing, it was Clive Smith that mentioned about the little cracking noise on the other side. So what's the phrase? Credit where credit's due. So for those of you who do comment, I'm sorry when I forget your name. Alright, well, let's make a little template for here. Struck me I didn't need to make a template for this. So all it is we're going to cut out 3-inch diameter, which is the outside of that thing, and then we're going to just put a little recess around the edge at 2 3/4 so it fits in a little bit. Then we're going to drill the holes and do that. So I'm going to have to, I can't think of any other way to hold this in the lathe, because I want to face off that little, take it in the 16th just so it fits in. So I'm going to have to drill a hole here and bolt and put a bolt in, and then we'll have to weld that up. But so we don't fall foul of that, I've got a couple of different grades of alloy filler rod. We'll fill it up, and if it doesn't look right, I can always drill it out again and fill it up with the other rod. Because when I make the oil tanks and stuff, I don't have any problem. I think I must have used the rod that I bought to do the 3003 grade of alloy. So anyway, let me get this on the bandsaw and cut this out roughly. We'll drill it and we'll put it in and get it right. Right, well, time for a little bit of machining. So there we are. There's our 2 circles mounted tightly on that. Looks as if it's running a bit out. This is a, hang on, can you see it? Yeah. This is a set-right type chuck. It's got 4 sort of big grub screws, set screws, and you can, the chuck on the back plate has a little bit of movement concentrically. So what I'm going to do is put something in there and check this, because it just didn't look as if the centre was turning round. Now I had this set up the other day for something, so perhaps that unset it. I don't know. I'd like to get a 4-jaw chuck, but I haven't come across one. So let me set this up. And I might as well show you this in a couple of minutes. So I haven't touched anything yet. You can see, look, I've got nearly 10th hour run out. So what I have done is just slackened. There are 6 bolts, Allen bolts there. So these are all nicely numbered. So let's see. Let's take it to number 1. Set it to 0. And then we'll take it to a number 3. There we go, look. Almost 9 thou out. 9 thou too far away, so we want to bring it up. Where are we? Too far close to here. We want to take it down because it's a plus number. So, it's a different sized Allen key. So let's slacken that off. Turn it back round to number 3. Hang on, I'm going the wrong way here, aren't I? Pressing that down is going to pull this up, so actually that one's slackening. And then what we want to do here is pull this up to take half of the amount. So we were 10 out. Right, so 5, so we'll reset that to 0. And now when we take this round to number 3, we've gone a little bit too far, look. You watch Steam Shop do this and he does it in a couple of minutes. So there we go, number 3. Right, so we're basically on about thou out there. Now that one we want to come up a little bit. See if we can. That we're going to have to slacken the other side off first. There's number 2. Okay, now we're down to just a couple of thou outs. So let me keep doing this. Right, a couple more twiddles. That will do me. So now I tighten the face up and we're ready to go. Right, so I've turned that round, which was nothing special. So what we're going to do, I've got a, what's this, a left-handed tool in here. So it's a boring bar. Actually, I like using this. When I'm using it as a boring bar and I have it inside, of course it's cutting on the other side. So I run this in reverse, but it means I'm using positive numbers. But anyway, here it's going to be nice because it'll run, we'll have this running forward and it'll cut it. So what I've done is I've set this to 0 and down here I've touched off on the side and I've touched it off of the face. So I'm going to go in an 1/8 and I'm going to go down about a 16th. We'll say 60 thou. So now you see I can go in 60 thou, move over, go in 60 thou until I get to 125 on the cross slide. So let's see if that will work. Let's put the lathe in gear first, shall we? So go in. Well, it's difficult reaching around you. That's 10th though. Okay, now it's a boring bar, so actually we want to be going in. So let me take it in to the, my head's getting in the way, but hang on, I can't see the dial. Alright, here we go. There we go, that went into 60. Right, so I'm just going to keep moving across, going inwards to 60, so let me do that. Right, well, so there it is finished off with its little step. Now then, I've had a thought about what to do with the hole in the middle. Hold on. Right, well, that will go in there, that's just nice. And I've got one of these little doodads left, 1/4 inch one. How about that? I think that's fine. Right, so now I've got to mark a line here, measure those two there and see if we can't make ourselves a nice hole. I'm having some trouble finding, oh, I've got to phone British Tools and Fasteners. No, I'll do it tomorrow. Stainless steel Allen headed 2BA bolts. So I've got to keep looking for them. So let me draw a couple of lines here. This looks alright, but actually it's the chrome is bad. But what I did find, instead of drawing a line, I found that that fits very nicely onto there. So I'm going to use a transfer punch and do them like that. Hammer. Sit down so I'm not dithering all over the place. Because as my daughter has been telling me, I think I mentioned this since I was about 40, that I'm a little old man. And again, transfer punches are just to put a mark, nothing more. Then you use your proper punch for drilling the hole, for marking the hole. See, now we have our two little punch marks. Punch them properly and then we can drill them. Well, I have drilled my two holes and I actually ran a 2BA tap through those, and then I remembered that I had some long 2BA ones. Fortunately they're not stainless and they're just slotted, but we can see if I manage to drill the holes in the right place, can't we? There's one. Fractionally out. It's making it go in at an angle. Yeah, it's just slightly out, look. They're sort of the right. Now, how are we? Up slightly. Pardon me. Oh, excuse me. Let me just give myself, I mean, I've virtually drilled these holes exactly the same size as the bolts. So let me give myself a little bit of space down here. There you go. I just made each hole fractionally larger because don't forget we're going to have an Allen head on there, and also it's being held in. It can't move by the lip inside. So I think that is fine. So about the only thing to do now is what is it to do? Well, I've got to put the tank and that on. But that's going to be it for this week, because we've got to get ourselves ready for stuff and I have a day away. So until next week, everybody, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.